Okay, so my name is Shay, and I did The Office for my show project this semester. Some history about the show. The Office was based on a hit BBC series also called The Office, with the main character played by Ricky Gervais. The American version of The Office starred Steve Carell as Michael Scott, a sensitive and inappropriate manager of the Scranton branch of a paper company called Dunder Mifflin. The show is the American version of the United Kingdom show The Office. The premise of the remake is to make the show feel like a documentary being made to study American office life. A review by the New York Times said that the comedy is all deadpan humor and is perhaps closest to the 1984 mock rock and roll documentary. The show ran from 2005 to 2013 for 9 seasons, and it was co-produced by Deedle D Productions and Reveille Productions. It is shot in single camera form and follows each character around, and is made to look like a documentary. The first season of the show had mixed reviews, but as the writing picked up, so did the reviews of the seasons to follow. As the show progressed, it kept adding characters that the viewers loved. The show has won 5 Emmys and has been nominated for many more. Some more history about the show is Steve Carell played Michael Scott. Steve Carell is a pretty well-known actor, and again, Michael Scott is a sensitive and inappropriate manager of the Scranton branch. He is, I guess you could say, the main character, even though the show doesn't really have one. John Krasinski plays Jim Halpert. Jim is pretty apathetic about his job as a salesman in Dunder Mifflin. He loves playing pranks on Dwight, which is played by Rainn Wilson. Dwight Schrute, he owns a beet farm. He loves online gaming and Battlestar Galactica. He knows a lot of facts about bears, and Jim loves to play pranks on him. Jenna Fischer plays Pam Beesly. She starts off as the receptionist for their branch of Dunder Mifflin, and Pam and Jim have a romance that you can follow throughout the show. The production value of the show is small scale, but the show ended up making a fair amount of money towards the end. For the cultural analysis, The Office does not exactly flow with other television programs because of its unique mockumentary form. It is meant to be different and catch people's attention. It represents the culture around us through showing the life of the middle-class worker. The comedy in the show touches on ethnicity and social issues as well, but does so in a way that is meant to be entertaining. The target audience for the show is the middle or the working class. The show is relatable to some of the struggles of the middle class while using comic relief. The discourse is also the middle or working class society and the struggles they go through regarding money and corporate greed and other issues like that. For the critical analysis, the narrative purpose of each shot is of the show of each shot is to show the reaction of the characters, or show the faces of the characters in the scene. The show is in mockumentary form, so the shots are pretty unconventional. In typical scenes, the shot jumps from character to character without being cut. Most of the other shots in the scene are very quick cuts and tend to zoom quickly in on the character's face. None of the shots are steady, which again shows that the show is in mockumentary form. The fast cuts and quick zooms communicate to the viewer that the actions and humor in the show take place very quickly as they would in real life. The show does follow the shot reverse shot to continue continuity in the scenes. The show is made to feel like the viewer is a fly on the wall watching the action unfold. Again, because of the mockumentary style of the show, there are no match-on-action shot or jump cuts. Not only did these styles not show up in any of the episodes, they weren't used in the series at all. The show is meant to look continuous, and if a character moves, the camera follows along with them. Match-on-action uses shots from different angles and spots to make the action look continuous. In The Office, the camera follows right along behind the character. So if a character is in a scene where they're running out of the office or they're running up the stairs or something like that, the camera's going to follow along behind them, and the camera work's going to get pretty sloppy to make it look like you are running with them, like you're running right along with the character. For the practical analysis, The Office's discourse in society shows that of a working class society. It shows issues with corporate greed and how problems in an American office work out. Although the show uses comedy to show these issues, they are real problems that do happen within corporations. Some of these problems include misleading the shareholder, company funding, stockholder meetings, job loss, poor leadership, etc. My aesthetic distance is pretty far removed from the show. I have never worked in an office or had to deal with any of these issues, although my parents may have. I do not know more than the characters know, unless there's foreshadowing in the show. The culture represented in the show is white-collar America and blue-collar America. I'll explain that in a second. And the subcultures are the levels of work within each branch of the company. For example, The Office takes place within the Scranton branch of Dunder Mifflin, the paper company that they work for. If a viewer works for a corporation, then they could find the show comical and relatable. It is not meant to challenge the viewer. The Office wants you to laugh at the ridiculous characters and predicaments that they get themselves into in their daily work lives. Where you see white-collar and blue-collar America is the Scranton branch is like this. It's a sales branch, and so that's the white-collar part. They also have their own warehouse that's connected in the same building, so you get to see where the paper's like shipped out from, and there's comical characters down there too. And that shows the blue-collar America. They also have characters come from their corporate office in New York and come and visit their branch, so you get to see that too. For the theoretical analysis, the loose binary opposition in the show could be categorized by the sane versus the insane. There is a constant comical struggle between characters in the show over how a situation should be handled, one of them clearly being the correct choice. The problem in the show comes from, or the comedy in the show comes from the insane in the show and how the sane react to it. While the show takes no stance for or against larger cultural theories, the binary opposition of the sane versus the insane can be brought anywhere. For example, in politics or in healthcare-related issues, or something as small as a child's fight with a parent, where clearly the parent is the sane and they should hopefully know better than the child. I have a clip to show the sane versus the insane example in the show. Dwight and Jim are going on a sales call together, and Dwight likes to pump himself up with music in kind of a ridiculous way before the meeting, and Jim just has to react to it.
Leave the keys.
You still do that thing?
Leave the keys.
And that's my show project.